Hey there, baseball fans. Nathan Rohde and Shooter Hunt here with the latest episode of Coffee and Curveballs. Shooter, we have yet another update to rankings. This time it's 2022 overall.
Yeah, looking at that next age of draft talent coming up the pike. 500 guys, some changes up front, including a new number one.
Yes, let's talk about that new number one. Elijah Greene out of Florida at IMG Academy now, committed to the University of Miami. Always has been in the mix, been in the top 10, really electric tools, but his area code games, I mean, obviously there's more reason than just 1 week of baseball, but that kind of solidified it with his performance there.
No, just the whole summer. When you see him, he's about 6'3", 205 with some real defined muscle. You look at it like, that's a big leaguer. Look at this guy. But then you watch even more than just the way he looks, the way he plays hard all the time. It's real speed, real athleticism. The power is probably some of the tops in the class right now. And then the performance against the best arms in the country is also the tops. They moved him over to the upper class section. He really went out there and he grabbed this number one spot. And he's going to be a guy talking about on that first day looking towards 2022.
Yeah, he definitely was catching the eyes of scouts. They were all kind of taking a peek over their shoulder when his at-bats would come up when he was on the underclass side, just in case he reclasses. Not sure he will or not, but they wanted to make sure that they saw what they needed to, just in case he made that decision. But we also have a lot of guys on the rise. Let's first talk about some bats. We got Malcolm Moore, Jason Jones, and Nolan Schultz. Malcolm Moore was a big one at area codes. They brought him over from the underclass side to the upper class side, and there was zero change for him. He looked like he belonged. He was not scared, and he didn't swing and miss.
Yeah, it's real rhythm at the plate. It's a bigger leg kick, so there's a lot going on with the hands, but it all works in sync. And he's able to get the foot down, get the barrel out quick, twitchy bat speed. Barrel stays in the zone, but the power is what really elevates him. He's on the left side. He can really drive the ball in the air, and it's going to be big power potential. And does a nice job behind the plate. I got to see him a little earlier on in the summer. Continues to get better back there. The catch and throw is there, and he's definitely a mature kid who's looking to get better all the time.
And then Jason Jones out of Texas, committed to Arkansas. He's a guy that I haven't seen myself yet, but based on some of the video that you shared, can't wait to see him take some at-bats.
Yeah, Jason Jones, we may be talking about him as the best hitter in this class by the time things are all said and done. Really talented at the plate. It's real strength through. He had a line drive. It might have stayed 4 feet off the ground for about 300 feet. That's how hard he can hit the baseball. But he can stick at third base, so it's going to be one of those premium guys. Again, looking towards 22, because he's got that power potential from the right side. He can stick at third base. He moves well. He has a chance to be one of those first-round type guys.
And then out of Michigan, we've talked a lot recently about the talent coming out of that state. Got some more in Nolan Schultz.
Yeah, Schhubart, big left-handed hitter, committed to Michigan. He's been outstanding. Another guy who's driven the ball well, especially at Lake Point. A lot of home runs throughout the summer. Right in the mix. I mean, Malcolm Moore, Jason Jones, Nolan Schultz, all big-time power potential bats. So the next 18 months, 20 months are going to be big for these guys, but they can all really hit, and I'd expect them to continue progressing quickly.
Let's flip over to the other side of the ball and talk about some arms that have an arrow up. We got left-hander Nolan Schultz out of Illinois, committed to Vanderbilt to start us off.
Yeah, Nolan Schultz is one of the guys we were looking at in some of those TrackMan Confidential stuff where we had them on the TrackMan. But at 6'7"-ish, maybe 6'8", it's long-limbed from the left side. And you'd expect him to have some trouble repeating some movement patterns. He doesn't. He finds a consistent slot. It's a lower three-quarter slot, which makes it pretty difficult on the hitters. And it's effortless, 87, touching up to 90, can really spin the baseball, breaking ball up into the 2,800 RPMs. And feel for a changeup. So I think the sky's the limit for this kid right now, especially as he continues to get stronger.
And then out of New Jersey, we've got a Kentucky recruit in Caden Dana.
Yeah, Caden Dana, who was 90 and 93 at the area codes, and it was outstanding. Feel for three, could throw a big-time 11-5 breaking ball, changeup, fastball, any counts he wanted to. Is also a really talented football player in that stellar Don Bosco prep football squad up in Jersey. But he's 6'3", 6'4", 210, square shoulders, has two brothers who are professionals. I think he's got the bloodlines and the chance to go even higher. That Bosco team's going to be real good.
And then one more arm for you. Shocker, Indiana's continuing to produce arms. We got right-hander Tucker Bivin, who's committed to Louisville.
And you'll watch Bivin get out there, kind of like Jared Poland, two-way guy, go out the shortstop. You love him in the field. He's athletic. And then he hops on the mound, 91, 94 with a real slider. He tunnels the thing really well, he has confidence in the pitch. And I think that's what separates him and why he moved up in this class, the ability to get that swing and miss on a real slider.
Excellent. Who are some guys that we're going to call Helium Alert? They're outside the top 100 right now, but have a chance to make their way into it down the road.
I think Evan Chafee, if any coaches have seen this guy, Alabama went up there, Coach Bo, and got the big southpaw from New York. It's clean and easy, and you just look at the way the arm works and the frame, you're like, ooh, this kid's got a chance to be really good. Really comes out of the hand well. Landon Russell had a great summaries with that top-tier Ruse team. He's from Alabama, committed to Auburn, two-way guy who can swing it, but another guy who has that real slider, gets some swings and misses, and he's real competitive, which I think is going to really help him as a winner. And then McKay Whitaker, Rhodey, this is a guy I think next summer you're going to be keying in on. Has a chance to be a real hitter, left side, first base, outfield, swings the bat really well, ball comes off the barrel. And another one, we're looking at these power bats, he's another one we could be talking about out of Ohio. And again, he is an Indiana recruit.
Nice. Lastly, to wrap us up here, we talk about the uncommitted, or we talk about the recruitment trend of everybody being really early. In this class, there's a little bit of its own trend in guys that are uncommitted. If you look at our top 20, 7 players still remain uncommitted. So there is a lot of talent still on the board out there for some of these programs to be going after.
Yeah, and we're not trying to make up the fact that the recruiting's still being done early, and a lot of guys throughout this top 500 are committed. But the fact that these 7 aren't says a lot about their maturity of wanting to get to know coaches and slow down the process. They're confident in their approach. But when you have Dylan Lesko, who's the top pitcher in the class, he's uncommitted. Fellow Georgia boy, Tamar Johnson, who he is so fun to watch. He was great at every upper class. Tristan Smith, big-time left-hander, another guy. We're talking about a lot of guys who have the potential for day one picks also. Ryan Clifford, big power bat. Riley Stanford, another Buford teammate of Lesko, two-way potential. I think he may really hit. He's up into the mid-90s, though, on the bump. Gavin Guidry, who rose a ton in this rankings because he is ultra talented at shortstop. I think he's kind of almost a program changer in that sense, but he also hopped in the bump, the 88 to 92. And then Naz Mule up in Jersey, you can really sling it up into the upper 90s. Those are all guys who are uncommitted right now, and if they got to campus, would help change a recruiting class.
Absolutely, they would. So there you have it, a look at the 2022 update to the overall rankings. So be sure to check it out at prepbaseballreport.com for all 500 guys. But as always, for Shooter Hunt, I'm Nathan Rohde. This was Coffee and Curveballs, and until next time, we'll see you guys at the ballpark.